Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, we'll be walking you through the weather forecast over the next several days to show you what you can expect out your door through the next 7 to 10 days. Looking here at the surface analysis, today we are seeing the cold front with fall-like temperatures behind it moving through the country, and you can see it's already over here into the mid-Atlantic and down into the southeast. So we have high pressure building in behind that across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Great Lakes here. We do have some active weather to talk about, though, across the southern plains here in just a moment. But look at these temperature anomalies this week. The rest of the week here, well below average here from southeastern Canada, the Great Lakes region, down through the Midwest and into the southern plains. We could be seeing temperatures 5 to 15 degrees below average for this time of year through the rest of the week. So definitely seeing a nice welcome change with the cold front out there as it pushes across the country. Looking at high temperatures this afternoon, yeah, you can see with the cold front, we do have some heat ahead of that across Florida, coastal Carolina, getting down into the Gulf Coast region and the Rio Grande Valley down here. But just behind the front, temperatures falling back into the 60s and 70s for highs this afternoon. We'll definitely take that. And then as we go through the week on Friday, much of the same. Temperatures into the 70s here. There will be some 90s down near the Gulf Coast, but not as hot and steamy as we've been seeing lately here and really throughout the entire summer across the deep south. We're just not seeing that on Friday. So a nice welcome change to the temperatures out there. Now let's look at the precipitation front here. So looking at the cold front, we have some precipitation from the East Coast down across the Gulf Coast and then most importantly across the southern plains. We desperately need the rainfall in Texas and Louisiana where we have that extreme and exceptional drought. We'll start to see that again today and then going through your Thursday tomorrow, more organized showers and thunderstorms pushing their way across Oklahoma into North Texas and Central Texas there. And then as we go into Friday, really much of the same. And another cold front with a reinforcing shot of cool air will be coming down here across the northern plains as we get in toward Friday. Looking at the total precipitation or total rainfall accumulation now through the weekend, this takes us through Saturday, September 16th. You do see several inches of rain possible across north central Texas here. We could be seeing up to 4 inches not too far to the south and west of the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex here. So toward the Abilene region and toward Waco, we could be seeing some decent rains there. But even for the metroplex, we are seeing 2.5 inches of rain, 1.5 inches up there, additional accumulation going through the Wichita Falls region, another inch or so up there toward Amarillo and Lubbock as well. So definitely seeing lots of nice rainfall amounts to go around. This could be causing some flash flooding. Even though we have the dry soil out here, a lot of those heavier rainfall rates will lead to potentially those slight risks for flash flooding across northwest and north central Texas as we go into Thursday and into that Friday time frame. But if you're still with me on the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below as I can forecast the weather for your area each and every day. And be sure to like the video down below with the thumbs up button if you do enjoy today's weather content. Looking ahead to the weekend here on Saturday, very high and dry across much of southern Canada and the United States. We do start to see some rainfall across the southeast here, mainly spotty here and most numerous across Alabama and North Georgia. Then as we go into Sunday, that pushes further east, so Virginia down through the western Carolinas there into central Georgia. We may start to see spotty showers and storms, but for the rest of us, for the most part, we are dry as we go through the day on Sunday. Looking at the total rainfall accumulation, just putting the 2 weekend days together on Saturday and Sunday here, the 16th and 17th. We will be seeing the heavy rainfall up in Maine. We'll talk about that in a minute with Hurricane Lee, but we are seeing some decent rains in some spots where we see downpours this weekend across portions of the Middle Tennessee Valley down into Alabama and North Georgia, where we're going to have the most numerous coverage of showers and storms going into the weekend. But it will not, even in these areas, be an all-day washout, so just make sure to plan around those wet hours there. Going through the weekend, high temperatures, yes, we are seeing wonderful temperatures again on Saturday. Same thing, copy and paste that to Sunday. We're seeing wonderful fall-like temperatures continuing across the contiguous United States and southern Canada as well as we go through Sunday. So Wonderful temperatures, and we just extrapolate that further into next week, September 20th through the 26th. We're seeing above average temperatures, but folks, this is late September, so we're not talking a heat wave or anything like that. Just temperatures into the 70s and some 80s out there. We'll definitely take it east of the Rockies with more troughs and active weather with a subtropical jet that tries to get going over here in Southern California. That'll be bringing some below average temperatures for you folks towards San Diego, Los Angeles, those areas. And you can see that subtropical jet kind of moves up into Southern California and then over the top here across portions of the Great Plains where we see above average precipitation for next week with below average precipitation from New England, Eastern Ohio Valley down through the Tennessee Valley and in toward portions of the Rio Grande Valley. And hopefully we can get some rainfall over the next few days because the drought really continues to worsen across this area and become more widespread. In the reds, the maroon reds even, those are extreme and exceptional drought areas as we go through portions of Texas here, including the Houston region, getting over towards San Antonio, Lake Charles, Louisiana, right in the middle there of that exceptional drought in the maroon red. And we need some work done up here into the upper Midwest with the rainfall as well, because we're starting to see a concerning sign as well up here into Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, back into Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri. It's very widespread up here with the drought. Severe and extreme, and even parts of these areas getting into exceptional drought as well. So we need some work done with the rainfall, and hopefully we can get it next week. There's another opportunity here that I'm seeing as we go in towards next Wednesday. We have another trough coming in across Alberta and Saskatchewan. That'll start to dive its way to the east-southeast on Thursday across the Dakotas, getting into Nebraska. And then as we go into Friday, a week from later this Friday, this is on Friday, September 22nd, more of a cutoff low-pressure system. And we like to see these because they are slow movers and they produce decent precipitation sometimes, and they can move over the same area, especially when we have drought and produce lots of rainfall. So looking at that, the European model from Wednesday through Friday during that period, as such, with slower moving low pressure systems that are cut off from the main jet stream, we do see some decent rains getting out here into the Midwest, the Missouri Valley, the Southern Plains, areas that desperately need the rain. Now, is it going to completely erase the drought? No, but I'm definitely seeing some nice rains on the European model and even the GFS model trending heavier here as well. So we are seeing some nice rainfall mid to late week next week that definitely will help to put a dent in some of the drought up there into the Midwest. Turning to the tropical weather update, we have lots to talk about here, lots of systems. We have Hurricane Lee continuing to spin in the western Atlantic. We have Tropical Storm and Hurricane Margot out here as well, and a new wave we're watching across portions of the main development region in the North Atlantic we'll talk about as well. We have those three areas. Like I said, we have Hurricane Lee, Hurricane Margot, and a new area of investigation that has an 80% chance of development over the next several days that is well to the east of any source of land, so we have plenty of time to watch it. But we'll dive into the details here. Looking at Hurricane Margot, this is a Category 1 90-mile-per-hour hurricane here. North-northwest is 7 miles per hour. It's going to stay stuck out here in the North Atlantic. It's not really going anywhere, so we're not worried about that. This is Hurricane Lee. This is what we are concerned about here in the Northwest Atlantic Ocean Basin, because we are seeing this start to trend north, and it's going to be getting very close to the Northeast here, and if not into parts of the Northeast near Maine, getting up toward Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. We're definitely concerned about this storm, so let's dive more into the details here. This is a very strong system still, 115 miles per hour winds there sustained, and then you see north-northwest movement with this at 9 miles per hour. It remains a hurricane all the way through at least early morning or midday on Saturday. This upcoming weekend drops back to a tropical storm on Sunday and then into Monday next week as it moves up through New Brunswick and into eastern Canada. Looking at the overall intensity guidance for this, a lot of the models have this dropping back into Cat 2 strength very shortly, and then kind of steadily decreasing in intensity back to a Category 1 by early this weekend, and then into the weekend time frame and early next week, this gets down back into a mid-grade, if not a low-end tropical storm. So that's what we like to see, is the intensity going down, but unfortunately, it's still a pretty strong storm. So today, 947 millibars, again, well to the north of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. We are watching our friends here in Bermuda, but then as we go into Friday, this passes to the west of Bermuda. There could be some impact impacts with waves there and also some stronger winds and rain showers from the outer bands there in Bermuda at times on Thursday into Friday. Then as we go into Friday, this approaches Cape Cod and approaches the northeast coast of the United States. Then especially as we go into Saturday. Saturday's the day we really have to watch for impacts here across portions of Cape Cod, Boston, getting up through coastal Maine and Nova Scotia here as we go into Saturday, September 16th. And you can see with those waves out there, we're going to start to see those wave heights really start to elevate across portions of New Jersey, Delaware, getting up there toward Long Island, getting up there toward portions of Rhode Island, Cape Cod as we go into Friday, and then really start to ratchet up with those waves near Cape Cod, coastal Maine, and portions there of Nova Scotia with wave heights that could be approaching 30 feet, not too far off the coast there as we go through the day on Saturday. So that is definitely concerning. Lots of rip currents, very strong surf out there, and lots of beach erosion as well, and probably some storm surge near the coastline. Then as we go into Sunday, we'll still have elevated waves for Nova Scotia and parts of Maine, but Cape Cod all the way down the east coast toward Florida, we're going to be fine with those waves as we go into that Sunday time frame. Looking at the precipitation, this is another aspect of the storm we have to keep an eye on here. Total rainfall from now through Monday for Maine especially, eastern Massachusetts towards Cape Cod even. We could be seeing rainfall amounts approaching 6 inches locally in some areas, so definitely concerning for some flooding up here. So watch out for flooding if you live in Maine, eastern Massachusetts there near Cape Cod especially, and even parts of New Hampshire and Vermont. And then looking up into eastern Canada, Nova Scotia, especially western Nova Scotia, could be seeing some very heavy rains. New Brunswick here, we're definitely seeing that, and then that spreads up further to the north and east into eastern portions of the Canadian provinces in toward early next week on Monday and then into Tuesday. Then we have another area to watch. This has plenty of time to watch, folks. I know there's a lot of people already jumping on the bandwagon. This storm's going to be the biggest storm ever. I promise you, folks, we are no hype here. 80% chance of development over the next few days. This is very likely to become our next named system, and that would be Nigel. And I promise you, we have plenty of time to watch this storm, so no need to panic here if you live in the United States or really anywhere, because on Saturday, this weekend, this is September 16th, the pressure is lower here to 1,007 millibar low. This is just to the east of the Lesser Antilles over the open waters. That is the most important thing. It's not affecting really anything out here this weekend. Going into Monday, now we start to watch this if we live in the northeastern islands there of the Caribbean again, as this probably gets into tropical storm, if not Category 1 hurricane strength as we enter into the work week next week on Monday. Then as we go into Wednesday, the European model, it takes basically the same track that it did initially with Hurricane Lee with Nigel here, and moves it on Wednesday the 20th or in the middle of next week, 1 week from today, just again to the northeast of Puerto Rico. Possibly if it takes this track, we could be seeing more rip current risk, more stronger waves moving in with rough surf there just to the north of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic again. But looking late next week at some of the ensemble guidance, when you're looking more than 7 days out into the future, the ensembles kind of take all of those parameters and put them together and show you where all the different members are showing where the low pressures could be. It could be as far north as a fish storm and not really affecting anybody, or it could be as far south as just north of Puerto Rico. We just don't know right now, but I will tell you this. If you live in Bermuda, right now a lot of the ensembles are clustering up this storm very close to Bermuda, so this one will be needed to be watched most concerningly for Bermuda, but again, there's plenty of time for this to change, so we will continue to keep you updated. No need to panic here about this storm. The warm water temperatures do prevail. We have sea surface temperature anomalies well above average, especially where the storm is originating. And then that will continue off with its track further to the north and west into the western Atlantic, and we'll have to see what it does in towards next week. If you want to watch my winter weather forecast for 2023 and 24, that is in the description down below the video, the link to that video. Make sure to go comment on that one. Watch the entirety of the video with great information on there about what you can expect this upcoming winter. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want additional weather forecast updates, you can always follow me on Twitter or X at Weather 420. That is in the description down below the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I do really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new so I can keep you updated on the weather forecast across North America, including southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics. Be sure to drop the like button down below, comment down below as well with any questions, concerns you have as well, and I will be answering each and every one of those. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody.